Welcome back to another episode of the Alpha Nation, everybody. We're up to episode 16, I want to say.
Yeah, look, we said it last week and I already forget.
Yeah,
I'm
16.
going to go 16.
We're
Let's
rolling
roll with
16. Episode
if we're
16.
wrong, we're wrong.
If we're wrong, we'll just film episode 15 next week. So, today, again, we've got Gregory on. Missing our dear Lizzie very, very much. No idea what's going on with that, but...
Yeah, she comes into a Zoom and then
Yeah,
bails out 2 minutes later as we're going to start
before
recording.
this. Yeah, exactly. So you're stuck with us two again today, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Let's hope.
So yeah, thanks again, Greg, for jumping on.
Nice, mate. Thanks for having me.
Today we're going to be talking a little bit about our mistakes made and our lessons learned, or more specifically, my mistakes made and my lessons learned, because Greg's just perfect, isn't he? Giving him a bit of a rap
Don't
early.
make mistakes, got nothing to learn.
No mistakes, no need to learn from them. So we're going to go through, just pretty much, we've compiled a list of like our biggest mistakes that we've made with training, with nutrition, in the kind of fitness industry ourselves, and just what we've learnt from them. So there should be a few good takeaways for you guys today. Hopefully we mention something that you're doing and then you realise you should stop doing that. So...
Look, if we both made these mistakes, like I went through your list and then I added a few more into it and I ticked off every one that you done. So if we've both made majority of these mistakes,
common mistakes,
chances are,
so,
everyone's done them at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
Or still doing them.
Yeah, I even get clients who come and ask me like something about that's on this list and I'm like,
And that's after 3 years of training,
yeah,
right?
that's after 3 years of training. I'm like, wait a second, what the fuck are you doing? No, I'm kidding. So yeah, there should be definitely a few takeaways for you guys today, which will be good. So the first one that we kind of wanted to talk about was just wanting to stay shredded all year round. So Greg, you'd like to tell us why that's not necessarily optimal, or...
Well, I mean, if your goal is to want to stay shredded all year round, then wanting to stay shredded all year round is probably not a bad thing, right?
By all means, yeah,
but
exactly.
For most of us, especially us guys, like it's more like we want to get big, we want to get strong, we want to be shredded.
Yeah.
You know, but like you're chasing like 3 rabbits at once, chances of catching any is very unlikely. If you just go and chase one rabbit rather than all 3,
exactly,
very much more likeliness of catching a rabbit.
Yeah, so this is also a mistake I've personally made too, just not wanting to lose my abs, being too scared to gain a little bit of body fat when I'm, bulking and stuff. So, but yeah, I literally just plateaued. I was literally 70 kilos for I don't even know how many months or years, just being scared to lose my abs. Still to
this day, 70, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, are you reading your scales or a little bit heavier than that now? Nah, I've come a little bit heavier than that. Come on.
You've got up over 80 at some point, haven't you? High 70s?
Highest was 86 and then sitting around 80 at the moment. So, as soon as you lose that little bit of fear of eating a little too much, like, you'll be fine. Come on. It's easy to get
you got to be bare minimum to gain muscle. You got to be at a maintenance energy intake or surplus, as we know, is always best. Even a little tiny one, 5%, 10% max.
Still enough. Like,
just got to be enough to build some new tissue.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's all you need. You just need to feel yourself. The second one, again, I am personally guilty of, is having the all or nothing mentality. So when we're at the gym, we're going to the gym, we're all in, we've got our nutrition in check, we've got consistency in our training programs, then we might have a slip up and it's like, didn't do it this week, I'm going to write the whole week off. Like, may as well not even worry about it. And that's, I've definitely been guilty of that even this lockdown. Like, I'll have a good week and then I'll have a bad week and I'll be like, fuck, I'm not in it anymore. Or, so, which, I mean, is just time spent wasted not chasing what you're after, really.
Yeah, and it's usually you're doing counterproductive things.
When
you're in that nothing phase, you're
exactly,
you're working backwards.
So it's just, you're spinning your wheels for nothing, really. If you're taking all this time off or all this time on and off, like, consistency is going to be key to all of your goals. Like,
I would say, like, a good one, big one I learned from that, because I was guilty of that in the past. Instead of having an all or nothing, having an all or maintenance mentality.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So let's not completely derail. When we're on, we're on. We're just going to sleep right, eat right, train right, tick all the boxes. When we've got other priorities, like I have for the last, 5 to 10 years.
10 years, family.
I got family, I got business, I got,
Yeah, exactly.
100 and other things to worry about. So I've kind of shifted everything into maintenance. It's hard to find what maintenance is. Like, it took me a while to figure out what's going to maintain my muscle mass, what's going to maintain a body fat percentage that I'm happy with, and all this. So, like, it's a little bit of playing around, but just find what's minimal effectiveness and that'll maintain.
But also at the same time, maintenance is not a lot either. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You could literally do 4 sets a muscle group and maintain your muscle tissue.
I mean, you've seen one of my workouts and how long it takes. I train like 30 minutes. Sometimes when I'm really busy with work and things, I'm training 30 minutes 4 times a week.
If that.
And that manages to maintain.
Yeah, look at him, right? He's fine. Doesn't need it. You can see.
Not optimal, but maintains something.
Oh, mate, can only imagine if you trained optimally, hey.
I'd probably burn out within a week.
Yeah, you'd quit your job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
disappear from your family for a week.
Would not work.
Exactly. This next one we also want to talk about is not tracking our progress either, which is super critical if we're trying to progressively overload. Again, trying to do something a little bit more each week. How are you going to know if you're not tracking your weights, right? And I spun my wheels for the first 3 years of my training, just going into the gym, doing what feels kind of heavy, kind of good, and then going home, not writing anything down. It's just wasting your time.
Yeah, I was guilty in the early days. I was pretty guilty of that. Then I got to the point where I started writing programs for myself, but I never tracked what I did.
Yeah, exactly.
On the actual, so it'd be like the 10
exercises
exercises on a Monday, and then I come the next Monday, I do the same exercises, but fuck knows what weight and reps I did, Exactly. So, you've got to really try and progress in the gym. We talked on the last one about adaptation. Yeah. And that's how muscles are going to grow. So you need to be slowly causing a harsher stimulus to cause the adaptation.
Said it right this time.
Hey?
Good on ya. I was waiting for that word. I'm like, ooh.
Throw a stimulus out there.
Good old stimulus, yeah. You every week or every training session, you constantly got to be giving yourself a little bit more of a stimulus. And again, not tracking your weights. You can get stuck into what kind of feels good, be reusing the same weights week on week on week, not actually knowing if you're progressing or not, just feeling okay in the gym, just not having a good idea if we're going up, what our performance is doing. And we can also it can hinder our recovery as well. If we're not taking consideration of our performance in our sessions, we could just be overtraining, spinning our wheels, even going backwards and not even know about it. So, tracking my progress, just to even get in a journal. I used to write it down on my phone notes. It's just something you've got next year. That's just easy to write that into. This next one we've got is not paying attention to anything other than training and protein.
Yeah, so that's all the gym bros out there, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I just got to have a shitload of protein and train the house down.
Yeah, exactly.
This was a big one for me for the first decade of training. I was like, as long as I can hit my protein,
I'm good.
Train my ass off. Who gives a shit? Nothing else matters. Oh. How wrong I was.
So many other factors come into it. You got your sleep. You got your overall balanced nutrition. All that kind of stuff is going to come into it.
Hydration, stress. Yeah, and then obviously other macronutrients.
Yeah,
calorie intake itself.
Calorie intake, yeah, exactly. The big one we like to talk about a lot.
Yeah.
I can't say I've done this one. I did focus only on training for a little bit too, and I'm like, I'll out-train my diet, yada yada. Again, we talked about this in our fitness myths last week, so don't really want to go too much into it again, but definitely guilty of just focusing on the training, thinking I'm going to get the perfect plan and then I'll be sorted without taking into consideration anything else either.
Who would think that just that 1 hour of the day wasn't enough success, right?
Yeah, when you've got 23
other hours in the day, just doesn't make sense to me.
What percentage
is
that?
It didn't make sense to me. So.
It didn't make sense. What's that like? It has to be, I'm not even going to try, 4%. I'm going to say that.
I'll go with 4%, mate.
Good.
Maybe 3.8% or something.
Oh, fuck, I don't care. Perfect. Another one I am also very guilty of, just using my mates for kind of guidance, but not actually hiring a coach to teach me technique, teach me training properly, or to teach me the basic principles of training. Again, I got kind of lucky. My dad was a trainer too, so when I was like first learning, he was showing me everything, but I'm like, you know, teenage, naive, just like, fuck you, Dad, I'm going to do what my mates do. And then, yeah, just really not having the basic fundamentals of training under my belt starting off. Like, yeah, I'm sure most of us say it. If we could go back, we'd hire a coach to start off with just to get our foot in the door and get going pretty early.
Imagine if you, when you first started at whatever ripe young age it was, went to you now and got all this advice.
Exactly.
Where could you be?
Where could I be right now, mate? I'd be stepping on stage. Come on.
Unbelievable, hey? Seriously.
Literally.
You'd be Olympia, mate. You'd be Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Just take copious amounts of drugs with it.
Do you know, still to this day, I still haven't had a coach, ever.
Really?
I don't think I've even had someone train me.
I
did an internship years and years and years ago, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago at Clean Health, and got my ass absolutely handed to me for 3 days.
Telling me that one.
But that's the closest thing that closest thing I've ever had to coaching.
Yeah, it runs through my mind.
Stupid.
Like, every now and then, I'm just like, fuck. If only I knew this when I started, where would I be now? It's
it's like that.
You're playing catch up, really. Plus, you've thrown out all your beginner gains as well out the window. You're like,
even to this day though, like, even knowing what you know, when you're actually doing things yourself, like, if I wanted to seriously achieve something, even now with all the knowledge I have, I'd still hire someone, because once you're bulking or cutting, your brain will just start
completely different
going over things like, I know this, but
yeah,
it's wrong.
I do it when I'm cutting all the time. I'm like, I know this, but I could afford this custard, or I know this, but the whole teaspoon.
The biggest one for me is those first couple of weeks when you just go into like that 10-20% deficit, and it's literally just glycogen stores, it's just emptying, and you're flat, and you know it. You know the signs,
exactly,
and you're still like, oh, I look like shit. What's the point of this?
Like,
right, bulk. Give me the carbs.
Exactly. I'm just like, I start my cuts. I'm feeling fucking depleted. I'm like, wow, I look like shit. I feel like shit. This isn't right. Even though I know, like, this is going to happen. It's like...
You know... But if you had a coach to sit there and say, Hayden, stop being a dickhead, you know this, then you probably go, oh, yeah, that's right.
You're right. No,
I do know this.
You get in your head, though.
So,
like...
But, and it takes the accountability, you know, like, it's on someone else's. The amount of times I say to clients with their check-ins, and I'm like, don't stress about it. Let me stress about it. That's my job.
Yeah,
we'll
worry about it.
Do as I say. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let's get on with it.
Sucks, I guess.
I'm never wrong. I'm never wrong, by the way.
Never wrong. These are all my mistakes. Greg doesn't make them.
Exactly.
So this one, again, is one of my personal ones. I did do a post on it on my Instagram, but when I did start lifting, I was super dogmatic in thinking that I could only use free weights if I wanted to get the physique I wanted or to get the athleticism I wanted, which is just downright wrong. Like, that's not grounded in anything at all. But I used to think, hey, if I use a cable machine, I'm only cheating myself. You know, I'm not going to get where I want to get.
Why use a cable when you can use a dumbbell or a barbell, right?
Exactly. Why use a lying hamstring curl when you can do lying dumbbell hamstring curls? Like, what a dickhead. I'm sure you probably saw me at Wyoming gym doing that a few times back before I started working for you.
Stupid fucking exercise, isn't it? The worst thing ever.
Like, and I'm like, no.
I attempted to start doing the lying dumbbell leg curls again during lockdown, because obviously, who's got a fuking leg curl machine at home? And I quit after like a week. I'm just doing banded leg curls.
I can't do them with my knees anymore, like, because I got a little gap in my kneecap from a surgery. Yeah. So it's just like whenever that knee touches the ground,
it just feels like your kneecap's splitting.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, ooh, can't do that. So it's just all machines now. Plus they're easy. They take all the stress off your life.
I grew my love of machines once I sort of gave up on worrying about like numbers games.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't so focused on my bench needs to be 2 times body weight.
Exactly.
That was never the case, by the way. I never benched 2 times body weight, because that's a little bit out of my league. Deadlifts, squats, and things like
100
that.
kilos would it be?
Yeah. Nah, 90.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that was a big one for me. And then like injuries come into it.
Yeah.
I'd find barbells would hurt, machines wouldn't. So that's kind of where my progression into machines came from.
Yeah.
But definitely. For hypertrophy, most definitely
machines.
Free weights. I mean, machines,
Yeah,
free weights.
like the isolation.
It's because I just read that on the screen and I just looked at the words free weights.
I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Hold up.
This isn't the conversation we're having.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Machine, but then I guess if you look at free weights in a strength training purpose,
they're great.
Mostly going to be free weights, yeah.
Well, I mean, you
specific
want to train
reasons,
your global muscles
powerlifting.
Yeah. It's all goal
sport
dependent.
Specific. Yeah.
So, yeah, my thing was like, I didn't have any, my goals were mostly aesthetic when I was younger. And I'm like, I'm only going to achieve this if I do dumbbell curls instead of cable curls, or I'm not going to touch a machine. That's just treating myself. It's like, come on, what are you doing?
Stupid.
What are you doing?
Give your younger self a slap, Haydn.
Yeah,
that's
I fucking
ridiculous.
wish I could. Yeah, no, like, yes, another one that I'm also guilty of. I'm sure many of you guys are too, but chasing strength, size, and the shred all at the same time.
It's easy, hey. Well,
yeah, just do everything. Yeah, I mean,
that's the 3 rabbits right there, mate. Chasing all 3 again, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just fatigue management's it's just not happening. To try and do all 3 at once. Plus, you got to be in different like caloric, I guess, amounts,
energy
states,
balances.
Energy
balance needs to be different. Yeah.
For all of them. Like,
if your strength is obviously like performance based, you probably want to be at minimum maintenance to perform your best, right?
Exactly.
Size, we talked about that earlier. Same sort of thing, maintenance
surplus.
or above.
Yeah.
Shred, pretty obvious. We've got to be in an energy deficit. So if we're chasing a shred in an energy deficit, especially if we're getting into a severe energy deficit, strength and size are obviously compromised.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not 2 things that we can prioritize. We want to hold on to. It's
as
awesome
much as we
can.
Yeah.
Gain a little bit, but obviously we go into maintenance with strength and size when we're focusing on shred. And strength and size kind of have an inverse. Not an inverse. They kind of work together.
Yeah. Yep, a positive relationship with each other. No, don't have it. Don't have it.
Inverse is shred and strength and size. They're inverse.
Yeah.
Strength and size of this one. Shred's
this one. Yeah,
there's the inverse.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so another one we kind of talked on last week. Generally, a lot of the bros do it. I know I used to do it when I used to watch YouTube videos of bodybuilders training and stuff, but that's just program hopping. So it kind of comes into the not tracking, but it is also different. So hopping from one program to another week after week, going from Dorian Yates back workout to Phil Heath back workout, it's like, again, you don't have that consistency in your training. You don't have that progressive overload. But yeah, this one's very common. I see a lot of the gym bros doing this a lot.
Yeah, just doing the in workout. Yeah.
Whatever.
Or it also comes into like, your strength, size, and shred goals.
Yeah, that too.
One week you're doing a strength program. The next week you're doing a size program. The week after that, you think cardio is the only answer to get shredded. So then you're doing a shred
you're just
program.
doing all cardio. Yeah, exactly. It's like, again, you're spinning your wheels. You're jumping from one to the other. Your body doesn't have enough time or stimulus to adapt to any of them. So you're just looking, if you're having fun, by all means, whatever, we don't care. But
that's it. If your goal is one of them, just chase that one.
Chase one.
Stick with it for a while. Give it at least six weeks at least.
Yeah. And then just
give the adaptation process a bit of time to happen.
Yeah, exactly. This one is also very common for beginners in the gym as well. But training with too much volume and pushing all their sets beyond failure. So I used to do this all the time. I jump on the bench press and I'll be like, I get my mate to spot me. I'm like, all right, when I can't do any more, you pick it off my chest and then let go of it, yeah? And then, you get that eccentric overload, all that shit.
Yeah. How good are the negatives, end of set negatives, mate?
Fucking hell. Yeah. Well, I mean,
we'll just do 10 second negatives. I'll just do 2 of them at the end of at the end of the set. And,
help me up.
And then it turns into like 10. Gets to the point where he's lifting it and you're like, yeah, just let it go.
It's just drop straight back on your chest.
Again, I'm still on it.
And also just the training with too much volume, like doing 5 sets of bench, then 5 sets of incline press, then 5 sets of flies, and then it's just, you're just spinning with, again, I'm going to say it a lot today, but a lot of it is just junk volume. Like you get to the point where your muscles are too fatigued for the session, you'd be better off going home, eating a bit, sleeping a bit, coming back in a couple of days and training again.
It kind of reaches like a bit of a graph. You look at it like, okay, this much volume, I'm getting progress out of this much volume, and
That's
then I get
kind
to a
of
point
peak.
of no return. Anything beyond this point has a negative effect.
Yeah.
So then I'm doing more volume, and getting more negative results.
Exactly.
So you've got to find where your range, range of effective volume is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then obviously we know, we probably should make mention of training near failure, not to failure.
Yeah, that too.
So what is it? Three reps to failure
3 RIR.
is almost as effective for hypertrophy as hitting failure.
As hitting failure, yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to
But then the recovery toll
is
obviously
just
of being
exponential
3 or
as
2
you
reps
get
in
closer.
reserve compared to exactly.
So
you can get in more volume and more growth by falling just short of failure on most sets, correct?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take them to, like, if you want to take them to failure, like, one set towards the end isn't going to be too bad.
Maybe your last set.
Yeah, for the
Last
muscle
set of
group.
each exercise, yeah.
Yeah, by all means. But, like, again, you do have to take into consideration your recovery for your next session, which is, again, going to be impacted by that. So, yeah. Didn't focus on form. This was one... Yeah, look, my deadlifts were pretty shit at the start. If I had a coach or if my dad let me do deadlifts and showed me, then, yeah, that would have been a lot better. But, yeah, it's just injury risk is just exponential when you're not properly focusing on what you should be doing.
It's also obtaining the, efficient stimulus as well.
Exactly.
If you can do 10 deadlifts with great form rather than 20 deadlifts to try and get the same effect.
With your little cat back and your...
Yeah, exactly. With the little harbour bridge back and hips shooting up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like... Yeah, it's biomechanically just more friendly too. Like, your injury risk goes down, your stimulus to your target muscle goes up. It's like doing rows. Like, if you're doing rows with your back horizontal to the floor, proper form, you're going to be getting heaps of stimulus in your back. If you then start to bring your body up when you're doing your rows and start to shrug it, it's not going anywhere into your lats.
Target muscle's no longer here.
Shifts up into your traps. So it's like, again, just...
Yeah, so good form, we're basically ticking off focus muscle.
Yep.
So we're hitting what we want to hit and we've got less risk of injury, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're winning.
2 things I knew nothing about when I started. Just
none
throw heavy shit around. If it looks like some sort of exercise, it's right.
Yeah, exactly. If it looks similar to what someone else is doing, we're winning. This next one is training when under-recovered. So I'm sure, like, most of us do it anyway. Like, I know I still do it today. Like, I'll be, my quads are still a bit sore from Monday, but I'm still going to hit my quad workout for today. It's, again, you got to
focus on your you got to focus on your recovery if you want to get the results, right?
Exactly. It's
so we mentioned, I think we talked about the recovery toll last week. If you're just not recovering, you can't grow because we grow, we adapt to a stimulus when we recover
through that recovery pathway.
If we just keep getting, think about it like if you the perfect one that people always use. I'm just looking outside for this because it's a nice sunny day today.
Oh, good.
Is your skin. You go in the sun. What happens? You go brown. You go browner. But if you went out in the sun and stood out there all day, you'd go red. You'd be fucking dehydrated as all shit. You'd have you'd have heat stroke. That's, you've pushed it too far. You're not, and then you can't go out in the sun. How long until your skin recovers? 3 weeks.
You can't even have a shower.
You don't even want to think about the sun.
Yeah,
but if you just went out there for 20 minutes today, 20 minutes tomorrow, 20 minutes the next day, you slowly brown, and then next week you can go for 30 minutes, so you can increase your volume.
I love that analogy, eh? That's fucking good. I want to use that.
Not just a pretty face.
I never said you were. So this next one, again, like, I'm going to say this to most of them. I've done it. But having no focus on my sleep or other lifestyle factors.
Yeah. So I think that kind of comes into the same as what we're saying, only focusing on training and things like that.
Definitely.
So I remember being young and just, Monday to Friday, train hard, eat pretty well.
Weekend,
Friday
just don't
night
sleep.
comes around, bender time.
Mate, you're not sleeping that whole weekend. Friday, Saturday night.
Exactly. Not eating.
Exactly. Again, that's just all these calories. You're in this big of a deficit.
dehydration, lack of sleep. So pretty much everything you've done during the week, you've just lost
thrown out the
because
window.
you have become so catabolic on the weekend. If you gain any muscle or strength during the week, you have just demolished it, absolutely wiped it out on the weekend.
Yeah. Sorry, bros. Get your gym pump before your Friday night gym pump before hitting the clubs.
That's it.
Nah. When Gladdy Daddy lets us out, we'll see. But yeah, it's just you put your whole week of progress, you're super strict, clean eating, all this just goes out the window. You consume all these calories through, whatever means they are, or you just don't eat at all. Super catabolic, not a friendly place for your muscle. So yeah, your body's definitely going to want to retain as much energy as it can, thus break down that muscle. Not ideal. Fell off the wagon on weekends kind of talks about that again.
Talks into that.
That's the exact same thing.
But I mean, that goes as well. We can kind of look at that on people that are trying to lose weight as well. So Monday to Friday, we've been in a 20% deficit. And then Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, we spend in a 50% surplus. All the hard work of Monday to Friday is now completely wiped out. And we're gaining weight. And then we're asking our coach why we're not losing weight when I've eaten so well during Monday to Friday.
And it's like, well, what did your weekend look like? Was it...
You always see the little graphs. They do all the little graphs where it's like deficit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
surplus,
and
surplus.
it just shoots up and it shows you like all the beers and the pizza and the cocktails and things like that.
So many of those.
Maybe we can post one of them up. We'll get Lizzie B to edit one of them into.
She's still here, just
so
behind
people
the
can
scenes.
see it. She's still running the show.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but she didn't come on today.
So when she signed in.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh fuck yeah. This next one is overdoing the same movement patterns and not understanding anatomy. So, again, this is most people in the gym, generally. Just, they'll come in, they'll only do squats, and then for legs, and they'll just do squats Monday, squats Wednesday, squats Friday. Next week, squats Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So...
No one's training legs 3 times a week, mate. What gym bro's training legs 3 times a week?
What can I say?
I think the perfect example of this one. I added this one in. I was guilty of this, and I still see so many people guilty of this. So probably I can give you a few examples. Chest workout. Gym bro rocks up on Monday, International Chest Day, as we all know. Starts off with his barbell bench press. Then he goes to his dumbbell press.
Yeah.
Then he goes to his hammer or plate loaded
strength
chest press.
Yeah.
So I've done 4 sets of bench press, which I move like this. I've done 4 sets of dumbbell press, which I move like this. Yeah. And then I've done 4 sets of plate loaded press, which I move like this. I've just done essentially 12 sets of the same movement pattern.
Yeah.
Comes in on Tuesday to do back, gets his dumbbell rows happening, usually single arm. Then he does some barbell rows, bent over barbell rows. Then he jumps on the cable and does some cable rows. 4 sets of each. I've just done 12 sets on the same movement pattern yet again. And then I've neglected not knowing anatomy, especially in the back. Like you got lats, you got rhomboids, you got traps, you got rear delt, essentially, everything there. And wherever the line of your elbows is kind of going is directing towards those muscles. So when you're just moving your elbows in the exact same directions, you're kind of hitting the same
muscle anyway.
Movement pattern and muscle fibers.
See,
right?
I never actually did this one, luckily. So
you're never guilty of that. You didn't come into. See, I used to go. I remember shoulders on Thursday. I'd go do a nice heavy push press or something like that. Then I'd jump on the Smith and do some overhead press. And I'd do some dumbbell press.
I've always
and
just had that.
To cook them at the end, I'd just jump on a machine.
More overhead presses. Like I think at most I would have had 2 movement patterns in a same exercise, or 2 exercises with the same movement pattern in an exercise, in a workout. Sorry,
but like good. I don't mind that, but I was always guilty of just doing same movement.
Never did this. Never did that.
Yeah, right.
That's yeah. I'll see. You see it,
and then not understanding anatomy. Like same thing like that. Primarily that let's just go with shoulders because I'll just use that because I use that as the last example. Primarily just targeting the exact same anterior deltoid, every pressing motion I do. Didn't think about doing laterals, wire raises.
Where's your side delts? Where's your rear delts? Yeah. Where are you throwing those in?
Yeah, exactly. And then looking at as well strength curves and things like that, shorten positions, lengthen positions.
Yeah.
So everything's just mid-range when I'm doing a press. Didn't think about getting things lengthened and shortened.
No, it's just press it. As much as you can press, you can do.
Yeah, that's
The
all
more
I
you
did.
press, the bigger your shoulders.
Everything just worked up to a 1 rep max and happy
1 rep
days.
max of overhead press.
Just
I
ramp it
have
up.
done that. I have done that, yeah. Actually, another one I want to put on here that's not on the list, doing 1 rep maxes without programming them in or without planning. Just getting into the gym. I see heaps of people do it. Mostly young kids jumping in, just wanting to big dick each other, be like, oh yeah, I can deadlift more than you. But yeah, doing unplanned 1 rep maxes without like proper periodization or planning before it, it just, again, the injury risk is too high. Like, your body's not primed. It's probably under fatigue from your previous session anyway, and it's not primed and ready to go or healed for another 1 rep max attempt.
And usually when you see these 1 rep max attempts, it's usually like all right, let's put 100 on the bar, use bench press because that's the best example.
Only example.
And then he unracks, gets down the chest. His mate gives him a bit of a spot to get it up. Yeah, sweet. Let's put 110 on there. I'll go again. Mate, he just lifted 30 kilos of that 40.
He's going to lift 40 on the next one.
Let's make him lift 40 on the next
exactly. Oh, no. Yeah, that's one I'm definitely guilty of. Like, just going to the gym with just your gym bros, like your group of mates, and you're like, deadlift party, let's go.
Yeah.
Just dumb.
Yeah. Big dick contest.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
just trying to one up each other. And this last one we've got on the list, lucky last, is falling for supplement marketing. Now, I never really did this too much. I fell for like the whole, you got to drink your protein shake to gain muscle. Like, you know, got told by everyone, no, you can get it through your foods and stuff, which is true. But yeah, never really fell for like the whole fat burners or the whatever else there is. Like,
man, I had heaps. So when I first started, like supplements, this is just like when the supplement industry just started to boom. So like heaps of products. Man, I wouldn't even know what these products would be called. Like I couldn't even think the amount of supplements I tried. Like test boosters, like things that I don't even know if they're still things.
Like, they're just like, yeah, this is going to give you this. It's like
I tried every pre-workout, every time like a new supplement came in, I would have given it a go. I would have wasted thousands of dollars. And back then, you couldn't get anything in Australia. It was all imported from bodybuilding.com. So whatever you could find on bodybuilding.com. But yeah, I tried so many things, and it like Muscle Tech. Cell Tech increases of 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Yeah,
that's it. I'm just like, cop that.
Jay Cutler's running this. Look at him. How come I only put on half a kilo in 6 weeks, Jay Cutler? Exactly. I don't get it. Makes no sense.
But yeah, this one, I also see lots of clients falling for too. Like, I can remember one, it was a nutritional guidance kind of consult. And then I'm just like, all right, so what's your kind of nutrition looking like? And she's like, oh, I got it from insert, I think it's I'm not going to name them, some nutrient company on the coast. And they're like, they gave me this whole plan. I've got these fat burners to have in the morning, these adrenal boosters in the afternoon. I got this, my meal replacement. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, how much did this set you back? Like, what are you doing wasting your money on all of these? Like,
I've seen plans given out by like supplement stores or online or whatever. And it's like, have 3 protein shakes a day.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
Our protein powder, that'll get you through about a month of our protein powder, which costs $120. So yeah, just keep eating like this, you'll be fine.
It's just like, and then also throwing in like you got to have this so that you can increase this, or it's like, I never fell really for them, but like I see it all the time, just, it happens. Yeah. Like,
I mean, there's supplements that definitely work, but
absolutely.
You kind of look at supplements in like most effective, moderately effective, not effective. Yeah. For the general population, like you probably wouldn't even worry about supplements. When you do start to look into it, then obviously look at your most effective, your caffeines, your creatines.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might need to supplement protein, multis, stuff like that. Moderately effective, you might delve into that at some point. But then, like, just don't worry about the non-effective ones because they're shit. They're not going to do anything for you.
They're already debunked. Come on.
Yeah.
But, it's also just an expensive mistake to make too. Like,
Yeah, it costs.
These
It
supplement
costs.
companies just, they drive them through the roof. But
They're
selling
like
false
I
hope,
think
though.
I've seen like there's I don't know they reckon like most supplements come from like 6 warehouses in the world, right? Like 90% of them come from the same places.
Yeah.
And then there's so many different prices that companies are selling them for. It's just this one,
Exactly.
which is the same amount of grams as this one. You can buy it off this website or you can buy it from here. $100, $20. Like creatine.
Yeah.
You buy creatine monohydrate, man.
From
Like
any supplement
I think
store,
I buy I think I buy a bag for a 1 kilo bag for like $30.
So I got 250 gram bags because bulk nutrients ran out of their kilo ones. Wonder who took those up. The 250 gram ones, they're like, I swear I got 2 of them for like $13 or $20 or something. Like,
yeah, well there you go. That's probably about the same. It's
not
cheap as
yeah. But then you go.
But if you went to a supplement store or another site online that has fancy
trying to sell me
marketing.
like 250 grams for like $50, and I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, supplement industry is just I mean, I don't want to tread on any feet, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, do your research on your supplements.
100%, and don't just take the guy who works their word for it.
He's getting paid
trained
to
to
sell
sell
you
it
that
up.
shit.
Yeah, exactly. He gets commission. Yeah, perfect. Well, I mean, that's all we had for today. I'm sure if you guys have any other kind of things you guys wished you knew, send them through to us. We can kind of talk about them. We can debunk anything you might think might be working, think might not be working. We're here to help you guys.
Topics that you want to hear discussed too.
Yeah,
anything.
let us know. But yeah, that pretty much wraps us up today. So again,
Nice, quick
thank
one.
you, Greg, for coming on.
Thanks, mate.
Becoming a familiar face here. So
Yeah, bring back Lizzie B.
bring back Lizzie B.
I'm starting the petition tomorrow.
Hashtag bring back Lizzie B. Again, so thanks for listening, guys. That concludes episode 16 I'm rolling with of our podcast. So if you want to find us on Instagram, Greg is at Coach Greg Watson. You can find myself at Coach Haydn Thompson, and you can find Alpha at Alpha Strength Physique on Instagram. But apart from that, that wraps us up. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening to us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to us.
Perfect.
They might not listen, mate.
Dunsky.